Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are picking up exactly where we left off at 4.7 meters per second, which is daggone close to ejection speed here at Deimos. Oh, KSP. Oh no, we are still in fact orbital. And, you know, orbital. Elliptically orbital. That's where we're going. Is the Kraken Spire, which I have no idea how far away from us that is. We are still in space above Deimos's lowlands, so I think it's really hard to gauge distance at this altitude, but I think what we're going to do is just make sure that the craft doesn't go spiraling into it. That should be more than enough. No, I don't. Come on. Hatch. Deanna, EVA. You have a very important mission to accomplish here. No, not grab. There we go. RCS pack. I think she... No. I swear I didn't hit the camera change key, but apparently things are weird. Hey, there's Saturn. Look at her. She is extraordinarily excited to be the one coming out here to explore the Kraken Spire. I don't know if I would be that eager to get next to such a ominous, haunted, obviously evil thing. Because, you know, just something about this just is not right. But we're going to do it anyway for science. I'll say, where's the ship? There's the ship. Thank God we didn't lose the ship. Oh God, the camera keeps shifting. It's like we can't get a beat on it. How do you stand on something that is 1 pixel across? I wonder if this is exactly the North Pole, because there's some very weird things happening here with the camera shifting. I don't quite know what to do about it, other than we're just going to have to reach out and touch this thing. Climb? Can you climb it? We can climb the Kraken Spire. Okay, let's not do that. Let's get back closer to the top of this thing. We've got a job to do, and we need to hurry up and do it so that we can get back into the ship. No, I don't want to turn on sticky keys. Don't lose it now, come on. Alright, sorry. This is taking way longer than it has any right to. And so this is where things did get just a little comical, including some phantom forces either ejecting us up or down, and various weird interactions with the Kraken Spire. But, you know, what else could really be expected from this thing? This strangest of anomalies. Alright. This might have to be good enough. Let's see if it works. Where did it go? Nice. Yeah, go away. Master switch off. Alright, jump. Uh-oh. KSP, please no. Alright, where is the ship? You know, that's not too bad, really. Who else can say they've done that? There's Olympus 1. Why are you shifting like this? We just have to get free of the Kraken Spire. Apparently I don't know why we're off by so much. That's insane. And also, why are we not catching up to the ship? How did it get a kilometer away from us? Alright, now we're making some progress. Let's go ahead and get back to this. I was a little amazed at exactly how much distance little Odysseus had covered in our absence, a little over a kilometer, but we were able to make it back into the ship and then kind of decide what to do from there. And based on our current fuel levels, the decision was made to go ahead and start making preparations to get us back to Harmonia Station. The first step was to kind of circularize a little more equatorially, and I've sped this up quite a bit because you can't warp very fast in Deimos orbit, and it takes for absolutely ever to do, you know, like literally anything at all. And so we plotted out a node. Initially, I was going to wait until Deimos was at an ascending or descending node with Harmonia Station, but that would be like 10 hours of just kind of sitting here, and really left me the option of like switching vessels and then waiting while they were in orbit, or just go ahead and making the ejection burn because it's like 3 meters per second, and then just sitting in a almost orbit right next to Deimos, and then making the inclination change maneuver a little later on. So we did experience some crackening the last time we left Phobos and Deimos, and that it would not let us go from the SOI, but that did not appear to be the case this time. And we warped the 10 hours or so around to our relative, or our ascending or descending node. I don't remember exactly which one, and then made a burn to lower our periapsis around Mars while also matching inclination, and lucky us, it brings us to almost an encounter. We're just going to have to do some touch-up maneuverings on such, so with yet another light of our AJ-10s to lower our orbit, and starting to get into the last kilometer per second or so of our fuel. This is a remarkably capable vehicle, even if it is horribly balanced and susceptible to crackening. So there was a lot of holding the thrusters, and a bit of a weird anomaly where even with the thrusters off and SAS disengaged, our distance at closest approach would just steadily increase unless we hit time warp. So I was able to work it down to some kind of functional number, but of course, as soon as it came time to make the correction, it just rocketed away from us. And that distance at closest approach shot way the hell up. Even though our velocity should have been zeroed, we were still losing distance greatly. It actually happened again, resulting in a F5, F9, which solves the problem for the most part. So I was able to make the distance correction, get ourselves lined up for a solid approach this time, and the station did not rocket away from us, which, generally speaking, is a pretty good thing. So we'll fold in the solar panels. We will start to make our approach to a docking port. Plenty of fuel supplies left on board, so I'm not really worried about running out of thruster fuel. We can go ahead and be a little greedy with our approach, and plenty of life support. This whole thing probably took about a day, maybe 2. I think it was 10 hours out there, and then maneuvers at Deimos itself, and then 10 hours of waiting to make the orbital plane change correction, and then just a few hours back in the low orbit, and then rendezvous. So probably a very adventurous day for our crew here, even though we really should have brought a scientist with more than 0 stars. All right, nudge. Yeah, we're off. Let's correct up. And rub the docking port a little bit. Nope, okay, that little pause was garbage collection, not docking. And nudge it in. Come on. Oh, jeez. There we go. Finally. Docked. Fantastic. That's, yeah, obviously not the cleanest, but I honestly think this is probably going to be the last flight of little Odysseus here. We'll have to decide what to do with it. It is a pretty notable spacecraft. It has been on Mars, on Phobos, and Deimos. I would like to see if maybe there's a way we could bring it home for study. But let's kind of sort through some of these sciencey things. We got like 50 science points of room in our lab here, and they're cranking it out at 50 science points per day. Oh yeah, not enough room to add that one. Okay, I misread the things. I need to look at data points, not MITs, which I guess is the Kerbal unit of measurement for data size. Alright, add that one, keep. All these are too big. Oh man, they got a lot of work to do here at this lab, so hopefully I'm just going to have to check back in with them like every 10 days or so, probably 9 days, just to make sure we don't have any inefficiencies with our data transfer, and then just keep them working as long and hard and fast as we can to try to get the maximum amount of realizable science points out of this. So all that data is, we're just going to leave it in Odysseus right now for I don't know, record keeping, organizational something or other, stuff like that. Well, that was a clean success. I'm pretty proud of that. Awesome. And well, as if one bad docking wasn't enough for you this episode, I did have a little extra time to go out and do some aero braking passes with our Lima ME supply pod. This, of course, carries kerosene and liquid oxygen for refueling Chestnut so that we can have enough fuel to get them home. This is a undersized pod. It turns out we're going to need like 3 of these to fully refuel a Chestnut from Mars orbit. We were only able to successfully launch 1 of them. I think the goal was to get 2 out here, because 2 plus the fuel that was left in Chestnut after making rendezvous would have been enough to get them home. But one of the HG3s on the other one failed halfway through its ejection burn, resulting in a complete loss of that vehicle. This one, however, made it cleanly, made a clean aero capture, and was just kind of sitting in orbit for a while because I forgot it was there. But I did many aero braking passes to slow it down, and a correction on the main engine to basically put it on course for this rendezvous. We've leveled out our relative inclination, and now we are going to start making our approach to Harmonia Station. Thank goodness. Finally, this thing is pretty heavy, coming in at a equivalent tonnage of our life support pod over there, but as you can see, it's pretty dense stuff. So, yeah, I'll just turn you over to old me. All right. Oh boy. We're really moving. Oh yeah, there's not enough braking thrusters where there are plenty of acceleration thrusters. Oh, should we try to break off? Maybe we'll be okay. I'd rather hit the docking port than the rest of the station proper. If we blow up one of those key components, everything else, ow, falls apart. Okay. Please, I mean, the only thing, we can break anything on the supply pod except for the tanks and the docking port and the thrusters. The solar panels and the comms can all go. We've got local control because we've got all 6 Kerbals back on Harmonia Station now. All right, break off and try this approach again. Yeah, which is exactly what we'll do. Yeah, like I said before, as if that first docking attempt wasn't terrible enough, now we've induced a very unhealthy spin here with Harmonia Station. We're just going to say that they used all of their thruster might from all of the connected vehicles to write that spin and not just tapping the time warp key to level things out. As we break off high to make our approach to our docking port again so that we can start to offload some of this fuel and then dispose of the supply pod. So, yeah, not a particularly well-balanced craft, but it doesn't really need to be. It just needs to be flown better. This is the first time I've actually had to dock one of these pods to anything, so it is kind of a learning experience, you know? You just get used to the off-balanciness that comes with draining fuel and having some pretty dense liquid oxygen and kerosene on board. And this thing is just so heavy. I think our life support pods might actually be a little heavier, but they're so much bigger that they feel like they should be heavier. Whereas this looks like it should be pretty maneuverable with all of its 10 million thrusters, but just kinda isn't. Anyway, we are on a much better approach now, so I will turn you over to old me. Alright, correcting down just a bit. Nope, that's up. Over and down. Kind of like I gotta hit 2 keys. Nudge it in. Alright, and now we just need to rotate. We're almost lined up. Just pivot around. Gently. Nope. Sinking low. Okay. Now it's sinking high. Come on, man. We'll just... all the paint. I mean, these docking ports. Oh, there it is. Finally. Jesus. These docking ports had entirely too much paint on them. Please don't crash. Yes, okay. We are... okay. We are in business. Frame rate is still pretty good, all things considered. So, you know, that's pretty awesome. All right. We'll have to see how much refueling we can do on this thing once KSP catches up to me yet again. So, resource transfer, the most exciting part of any episode. And oh wow, look at that mass shift. Whoop, yeah. Not, I mean, maybe getting us to about a half tank, which is interesting. Although I don't feel like that's quite acceptable for what we want to do, and I would like a little more margin, especially since we're bringing a crew home from Mars and there's no real recourse if things go wrong other than just having the Delta V to make up for your own stupidity, which in my case is a pretty large hill. So we're going to transfer some fuel into these high pressure pods here for the RCS so that we can deorbit this module. It's not a whole hell of a lot, but you know, something after offloading the rest of the aerosine and nitrogen tetroxide from the main tank there. We'll go ahead and hit undock. Undock. Yes, now that I had to verify that we actually offloaded everything. And unlock the fuel. That would always help. Come on, KSP. Thank you. Yeah, I've been running it for way too long, so it's starting to get extra laggy and just kind of extra terabad. So Alright, thank God we have local control. We don't have to wait 15 minutes to turn on the RCS and the SAS systems. So, backing ourselves off now, we'll switch our computer over to orbital instead of target and aim ourselves into retrograde. Plenty of delta V on hand to make this deorbit. We should have no problem putting this thing into the dirt. 146 meters per second with a periapsis of 137 kilometers. This should be no big deal at all. We're just going to wait until we get clear. Ullage, ignition. Woomph. Yeah, that's a 20 TWR. Nice. Negative 375 kilometer on our periapsis. We'll just switch back before we have to do it through map view, because we know that thing's going to get destroyed. And with all that said and done, I just need to clean up some logistical things here, make sure all the appropriate engines are turned off, because that DV reading is confusing. But that's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.